I feel like we need to have some birthday cake and coffee up here for this conversation. It's one of those days. So we've talked a lot about this day, and thank you. First of all, it's my honor and pleasure.
Thanks, Melinda. Thanks for
participate in this conversation, and it will be a conversation. It's going to be upbeat. So I have to tell you, Mayor, because I know you're just coming down, right? So I'm going to give you a few seconds. As I walked in and I saw so many key members of your team, I saw Marsha in particular, I saw Janice Weaver, I saw Chief Finner, and everyone's like watery-eyed. I'm like, happy tears today, everyone. Happy tears. This is not an occasion to be sad.
True.
This is an occasion to celebrate. But then Chief Finner said he wasn't too sure, and I might have to hand him a tissue, so I just wanted to know how he was going to handle the day. So I noticed the importance of acknowledging your team. I watched your Chief of Staff, Marvelette, shake every single person's hand before their name was called out today. Let's start with that. You talk a lot about collaboration. Let's talk about the power of teamwork and how you put your team together.
You know, one is each one of them is highly capable.
Yes.
You can put a team representative of so and so and so and so, but they need to know what they're doing, and they need to know their jobs. When you have a city of 23 departments and 22,000 employees, you know, I don't care who you are as the mayor. You're not going to be in every one of those departments 7 days a week. You're not going to know all 22,000, so you need to have capable, dedicated directors, and you need to have capable people up and down in those departments. And the people that you saw today represented the best of the best. And they are the ones through the storms. They've kept the city going. Through COVID, they kept the city moving. Through difficult, tough, challenging times, they take pride in what they do. And I couldn't do my job without many of the city, well, without all of the city employees that are in this room and those that are not in this room. And I appreciate them, and I want to thank them. So this State of the City is for them, even more so than it is for me.
I feel like they deserve another round of applause. So this book, that's a gift for everyone.
Oh, who is that guy?
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does.
You know, I thought Mayor Turner about presidents of the United States, how they gray over the years. Well, you've maintained the same look, the same haircut for the most part. A few changes here and there that we look back at the 8 years.
Just a few.
Just a few. So this talks about the power of vision, collaboration, resilience, and transformation. Let's talk about resilience for a minute, because it's obviously an important characteristic for a leader and for your entire team and for a city. Tell me what resilience means to you as you take a look back.
Well, basically, I don't care how prepared you may be or you seek to be, an organization is going to experience shocks and stresses. Individuals are going to experience shocks and stresses. And many of those shocks and stresses are things you didn't plan for. And so you have to build an organization, in this case a city, that can, as much as possible, withstand those shocks and stresses and be able to bounce back when they come. Let's use Hurricane Harvey. A lot of rain, but unless you put systems in place and people in place, when those type of events come, your city still you have to weather the storm, and then you have to come out of the storm, and then you have to be stronger after the fact than before. So you build forward, you don't build backwards. If you build backwards, you build back for failure. So you have to build forward. And that's why we came forth with the Resilient Houston Plan in 2020 and the Climate Action Plan on Earth Day of 2020. And in all of the departments, we kind of assess, you know, what we learned from that previous event, and then how can we better prepare for the next one. And if nothing else, you simply have to have the right people and the right systems in place such that when things come, and they will come, you have to be able to take it and bounce back from it and go back and move even more so into the future than were you in the past. And that's organizations. Sometimes it may not be an organization, sometimes it may be personal.
Right.
You know, so I have, my own personal event. And so even when the situation came my way, the cancer, for example, the question is, how do you deal with your situation? And at the same time, continue to deal with your responsibilities. And you find a way to weather the shocks and the stresses, and you keep going forward.
You know, I'm really interested in your routine as such a great leader, because you have to motivate your teams, you have to motivate yourself, and you have to keep going. Do you want to give us some insight? You keep a very busy schedule. Tell us about your routine as mayor. Did it change from your life before you became mayor of the city of Houston, and what you'd like to maybe get rid of in the next year?
I think for people who are busy, and everybody in this room busy, I think most of us in this room have always juggled 3 and 4 to 5, 6, 7 things at the same time. If you want things done, oftentimes you go to busy people to get them done, because they know how to manage their time, and they know how to compartmentalize, and they know how to juggle, okay? You don't give a lot of people, you don't give people much who can't do much. You kind of have to know what people can do. So don't overload people that you know can't do it, because it won't get done. And then you'll get frustrated, and it will aggravate you, and so you don't want to do that.
You don't get aggravated.
No, I don't get aggravated. And my, city council members know I don't. I'm not an emotional person. I was just talking to my pastor over there. I told him, Pastor, I said a few words the other day. I asked the Lord to forgive me, but they came out before I realized it. I mean, y'all know I'm from Acres Home. The 4-4, Frazier said 4-4. Let me tell Frazier, it's 4-4, okay? So every now and then, even under the best of times, but a martyr who sits next to me, just like at city council today, she told me, she said, don't go there, Mayor. Hold it. So you have to have people close to you who kind of know you. But I think number one, if you're going to be a leader, you got to lead. And you got to be out front. If you want people to have good, solid work ethic, then you've got to demonstrate that. I try to, and you can't lead the city just from City Hall. Okay?
Which explains your schedule.
Right. I mean, when you have the most diverse city in the United States, people want to see you in their neighborhood. People want to see you at their events. And sometimes people want you at their table. You can't tell people all the time, well, if you want to see me, come to City Hall. That's not the way to lead the 4th largest city. So you have to embrace that diversity, and people have to feel as though you are embracing that diversity. And relationships matter. Okay? Now my term is going to end on December the 31st, but my relationships will continue. Friendship doesn't end. Friendship is not term limited. Okay? If that's the case, then yeah, it really is a rough ride. But what I have learned is that relationships matter. And people will go out of their way if they feel as though they have a relationship with you. And you have to work at it. If in the most diverse city, you have to work at it. And if you don't work at it, then you're going to inherit a city that's highly diverse, but certainly is on the brink of being separate, segregated, and apart. And if that happens, then you really have a major problem. So, all of those things, with my staff, the staff is diverse. And it's a diversity of opinions. Around my executive table, you will hear many opinions. And people have opinions. And I have nothing wrong with that. I think that's a good thing. But I also know that when I called the play, after I heard you out, and I called the play, let's run the play.
That's it.
You can't have 3 quarterbacks and then everybody throwing the ball down the field. Give me your opinions. I want to hear you. But at the end, if people expect me to call the play, and then collectively, we have to run it. But collaboration is part, and we saw that when we dealt with chapter 42 today on livable places. And I tell you, 6 weeks ago, people were all over the place. But today, City Council, you had City Council members, you had the Greater Houston Builders, you had the Houston Area Realtors, you had some of the stakeholder groups, all came together. And quite frankly, it was not acrimonious at all. And I think that's when the city of Houston is operating at its best.
Excellent. You talked about relationships, and I'm watching our time because you are the quarterback, and you said, Melinda, make sure everyone is out of here by 1:30.
That's correct.
We're going to do that.
That's correct.
I will, is it run the play or follow the play?
Well, no, you're running the play. I'm
running
following
the
you.
play. Okay. Thank you for that direction. So let's talk about your relationship with the business community and how essential that was to your success over the past 8 years.
Well, I would tell you, the business community was very instrumental on the pension reform. City Council came on board, the unions. I want to thank the union groups for coming on board. Then City Council came on board. The business community came on board. They were very instrumental in Austin in getting the legislators to come on board, so they've been critical. On most of our trade and investment missions, they've been done in collaboration with the business community, the Greater Houston Partnership and others. They've been very instrumental. With respect to what we're doing, for example, incomplete communities, that's being done highly in collaboration with the business community. The Sunnyside Solar Forum, for example, that's been done in collaboration with the energy sector. What we're doing at the Bethune Empowerment Center in Acres Home, same thing. The Bezos Academies that we are setting up in several places throughout the city of Houston where parents are not having to pay. Yes. That's been done in collaboration with the business community. So the relationship has been very good with the business community. And quite frankly, you can't run this city without having good ties with the business community. Many of the people in this room, the energy sector, for example, has been phenomenal. And that's why even when I was chair of the United States Climate Mayors, I refused to demonize our energy community because the city of Houston was based on the energy community. We wouldn't have the medical center without the energy community, or NASA and so many other elements. So why would I demonize someone that has helped to make this the great city that it is? But can we work together to address climate change and all of these storms? Energy transition is being done in collaboration with the business community. So the medical center, tremendous partners. You've got a number of your telecommunications companies that are here today supporting this event. So over the last 8 years, it's been great. Centerport, for example, is hosting so many others. Now, that is not to say that we agree all the time, but you can disagree and yet have a very supportive relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a good thing. The question is, do you disagree and go to your corners and you just fight? Well, that doesn't win. I think it's important to try to find ways where we can create winners and not winners and losers. And I think over the last 8 years, we've been able to work very effectively together, and the people in the city of Houston have benefited from the relationship.
Absolutely. I did want to ask you, you mentioned the next mayor of the city of Houston. I'm curious, because this is a very personal conversation between us. We've gone over all of your accomplishments in the video and in your speech, but what is the note that you will leave on the chair for the next mayor of the great city of Houston? Will you leave one?
I'm still formulating those thoughts. Look, I listened to one of them debates the other night. I clicked the channel. Look, let me just, what I would say, and when you're in campaigns, you just say, you say certain things, and, you're trying to win votes, so you
probably shouldn't watch right now.
Well, I can't help myself. I eventually clicked the channel back. But, what I will prepare, I am going to write a note. And one of the things that I'm going to say is enjoy it. Another thing that I'm going to say It's nothing wrong when you get here, that you recognize what you said in getting here doesn't match up to what you find when you get here. There's nothing wrong with making a U-turn, okay? And then what I will say is that every community is important. Every person needs to be respected. And a positive attitude will go a long way.
Good advice.
So.
Good advice. Last two questions for you. You are also a father, and you've had a personal life. You are not just a mayor, you're a father, you're a girl dad mayor of the city of Houston, right? And we know Ashley's here today, and that, I think, brought an additional layer to how you did your job. It appeared that way to me. Tell us about how important it was for you to have your family be a part of it.
Well, it was my daughter who said when I was running in 2015, Dad, don't build a city for people your age and older. Initially, I didn't know how to take that, because, I was her daddy, so I just kind of smiled. And then she said, but build a city for people my age and younger. And I took that to heart. It is important that you build a city not for just today or yesterday. Yesterday is gone. And if you try to build a city on yesterday's model, you have already failed. And by the end of today will be gone. And so you have to be futuristic in your thinking. One of the things that I did, and I'm proud of it, the person over boards and commissions. I've had 3 chairpersons. Not one of them has been older than 40 years old. Not one. And what I said to my chairperson, I'm putting you in this position, your boards and commissions. If you don't put people or bring people to me who are your age and younger, then that's your fault. Because I'm putting you in charge. So take a look at all of these boards and commissions and see who's been there for a long time. Or see if there's not enough diversity on these. And then bring me people that will be reflective of where this city is going. So I think it's very important to build a city that's futuristic in nature, because you can't capture yesterday. And quite frankly, people are coming from all over the world, and there are things that they are looking for. And what my daughter said is, Dad, the city still needs a little sizzle and some pop to it. Well, I agree with that, okay? So I think that's critically important, that you have to project this city into the future. And as this poet once said, children are messages that we send into the future to a world we ourselves may never see. What sort of message shall we send them? And it is very important that whatever we do, that we build the city for a tomorrow that has yet to come. And then I think we'll be prepared for what comes down the road.
Well, speaking of what's yet to come, I have to ask. Seems like you have a lot more work left to do and a lot more energy to use. What is next for you, Sylvester Turner?
The more I think about it, I don't know why I should leave. I should just stick around.
I have to push you out.
Wouldn't that be a story? But in terms of the future for me, quite frankly, that is in God's hands. And I'm not trying to be, oh, there you go, holier than that. I'm not. What I'm saying is that I think sometimes if you try to plan things out ahead, way down the road, sometimes you miss. What I will say is that we got 3 months left. We're going to work the next 3 months. And tomorrow will take care of itself. And that's the way I've operated all my life. I've had an incredible career. I take nothing from a journey. These 8 years have been incredible. And I have enjoyed every single minute. No question about that. Quite frankly, over the next 3 months, I'm just going to take the time to soak it all in. And that's why I looked over this audience. You know, after today, I'll never see in this setting again. So for the next 3 months, after dealing with 7 federally declared disasters, social and civil unrest, COVID that just won't go away, Winter Storm Uri, extreme heat drought conditions, I think over the next 3 months, I'm just going to take it all in. And whatever comes next, for me, will be just icing on the cake. That's the way I look at it.
Mayor Sylvester Turner, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for allowing me to be your mayor.
Take it all in. Take it all in, Mayor Turner. Take it all in.